Hey guys, welcome to my Geekdom. I'm Brianna, and I take a little bit of time out of the day to talk about a few of my favorite things, from anime to board games to D&D, television, movies. It all just depends what I'm in the mood for. And today, like pretty much everybody else, I'm in the mood for Stranger Things. With the finale dropping tomorrow, I've got more than a few things to say, so join me in the television subdivision as we cover actually quite a bit of talk about Holly, a few of the minimal theories that I like and why, and just some random things throughout the final season here that have really caught my eye. I will give you a warning though. I'm probably going to be pissing people off, like just straight up. So, heads up. This is your spoiler warning. If you are easily offended because somebody has a different opinion than you, this is not your place. Also, I spent like 20 minutes trying to get the angle of the camera right. I'm trying some new different filming techniques. So I know it's weird. No matter what I do, I'm sort of, I guess I'm like a little straighter right here. Not really. Anyways, I gave it a shot. Clearly you can see I don't have it quite right, but welcome to my geekdom again, and I hope you enjoy the journey. Now, I'm going to start at the beginning with the three different theories. Again, these are not big, crazy theories that I happen to really like. Some of this is a little bit me, some of it I've seen on the internet, and I really should have written it down, but honestly, every other video is Stranger Things, and keeping track of every single one is bordering on crazy talk. So if I say your theory, shout out to you. But here's here's the obvious ones, right? Um D&D, big focus of the show, rather it was meant to be or not, it truly has become a show about Dungeons and Dragons. So, episode 1, when Will is speaking to Elle, and she asks, how does the story end? How do you end a campaign? Will says, oh, I said Will. Mike says that usually everybody's so traumatized, nobody else can understand them, so the group finds a place to go live together, away from society, away from judgment, and this is a beautiful idea that I hope maintains true to the end. So this isn't even so much a theory. Like I said, it's just a little bit. It's just a little thing. They're using that moment as this ideal of how things should end, right? Then you add in A Wrinkle in Time, the book that Holly is reading, the one that I assume the rest of her class has read because they all openly call Henry Mr. Whatsit. At the end of A Wrinkle in Time, everybody returns home safely. After Holly, see, this is where I got confused. After Meg accepts and truly loves not just herself, but Charles Wallace. It's less about her jealousy over how intelligent he is and all the things he's good at, where she is just a plain Jane. It's her connection and her love for Charles Wallace that get her and her family and Calvin home again from Camazotz. Now, when I was searching through, I did read, because it's been a hot minute since I've read A Wrinkle in Time. Funnily enough, I did start to watch the Storm Reid movie not that long ago, which I enjoyed. I just really liked the made for TV one more, with Alfre Woodward, and that's from like early 2000s, maybe 99. But anyways, my point being that it had been a hot minute, so I was looking up trying to get some quick refreshers, some specific things, and the one line that really popped out as my eyes were skimming over pages was that, I have it here. By concentrating on her love for Charles Wallace, she restores him to his true identity. Okay. So, this is, and I feel like I saw it somewhere on the internet, but this is also my little tiny theory, right? Max and Holly escape through Henry's memory. So they see him kill that guy and open the briefcase. And I now know from other people's videos telling us exactly what happens in the play that the majority of fans could not go see because it's only in two places, New York and London, which, like, how? How are you okay, that's a different rant. I'll get to that rant. But is this the possible idea that Holly could restore Henry? Right? It's her memory and her love for Mike and the fact that Mike gave Holly the heroic that opens her escape out of Henry's mind. But then he catches her again, which fucking sucked so bad. But he catches her again. So when they go to save Holly, is this going to be an indicator that Holly might be able to save Henry? Because Max says it herself as well that he's just human. Of course, she is talking to Will about how Henry has fears. Yes, he's become this monster, this villainous thing, and he has a god complex, but he is human. Holly is currently dressed in his sister's clothing, in his clothing. She was the first one he took. Holly has, in fact, been aware of the Upside Down since season 1 when she went with her mom to the Byers' house. She saw the lights flickering. She saw the Demogorgon in the wall. She was aware. She saw something weird happening. And then in season 3, when they're on the top of the Ferris wheel, she sees something in the woods. That is what the creature that's going to attack the kids at Starcourt Mall. So Holly has been aware and on the outside of this since the beginning. What I think that means is just that her connection to Henry could be deeper than we're currently realizing, right? This whole last season has been that build up to the big fight that we're going to get, or that we better get, because another one I saw is that if they Twilight it, where the ending battle is a bunch of bullshit and it's all in Collie's mind, that person was going to freak the fuck out. I am right there with you. No, we're not doing that again. I knew it was going to happen. They filmed it so well, but it was still a bunch of bullshit. So, yeah, if we don't get that big old battle, bunch of bullshit. So those are the two little mini ones that are really, like I said, it's more like, hey, this is pretty obvious, but I do think that there's going to be a little bit more there, and some of the reasons why specifically for the Holly Henry thing I'm going to go over when I get into the next factor, which actually has to do with Holly's whole storyline and dipping into clothing a little bit. The next one that I like, that's just, it's again, it's a small thing, but I saw their video and they have a Rainbow Bright theory that the story of Rainbow Bright is actually more important than A Wrinkle in Time or Dungeons and Dragons. But it's a very straightforward story because, yeah, I was more of a Care Bears girl myself, but I had watched a little bit of Rainbow Bright as a kid. So I looked into it, and the story's very straightforward, right? Rainbow Bright goes into a magical world, finds a color belt. There's 6 or 7 color kids that are all part of the rainbow, and it works out, right? If you've got Holly as Rainbow Bright, Mike, Dustin, Lucas, Will, Elle, Max, and Erica, when you add her in there, I would like this theory more if the kids were color coded. If they had colors that they they leaned towards more, but because of the 80s, like there's a lot of pattern involved in their wardrobe. So there's not one specific color. In my episode, Pinkalicious, Nancy is the only character that's truly color coded. She wears a shit ton of pink, which again, I'm going to be going into when I start talking about the clothes and wardrobe in this season. But the rest of the kids, not so much. I think Mike wears a lot of blue, and then I even tried, because I was rewatching it, Lucas ends up in the blue squawk shirt, Dustin's in a red squawk shirt. I was like, oh, maybe there's something. There's nothing. So I like it because it means everybody gets a happy ending at the end. But there's not much to it except for the crazy amount of Rainbow Bright in Holly's room, the classroom, the hospital. And this makes sense because the time period is right. Rainbow Bright came out in the beginning of 1986. So it makes complete sense that Holly has a Rainbow Bright bedspread. There's a Rainbow Bright puzzle in the hospital when I keep saying Will, when Mike sees the copy of A Wrinkle in Time. I went through, I got a list, guys. Got a list. I always have a list. I wouldn't be me if I didn't have a list. Hopper's room. In the cabin, Hopper has a like a suit bag. It's rainbow. There's rainbows on the van for the squawk. It has rainbow on there. So this is going to kind of take me into, so we're done with those first three theories. And now I'm going to move into a little bit about the use of color in Stranger Things. Now, if you are a homophobic asshole who's mad because Will came out and how is that important to the story and there's no clues, this came out of nowhere, what the fuck show were you watching? Like, where were you? Were you not there in season 1 when Joyce went to Hopper and said that Lonnie calls his own son queer? Were you not there in season 4 when Will was jealous over Mike and his relationship to Elle and he wanted to give him this painting? Elle even states, I think Will is into somebody. He's been working on something in his room. He won't talk about it. Season 2, Mike says that jackass thing, like, just because you're not into girls. Maybe it's in season 3. It might be season 3, actually. Like, he knows. He's always known that his best friend was gay because he corrected himself in that scene and he went, no, what I mean is this, because he knew he crossed a line. He knew this is something that all of the other kids bullied him about. It's not news. It has always been there. Just because you are media illiterate doesn't mean it came out of the blue. Let's also talk about, and this is where we started here, the amount of goddamn rainbows in this show. The rainbow room. Will draws a rainbow spaceship. It is in the memories that Joyce is talking to him about, and then when he gains his power, he's thinking of those good memories, and it's all the memories that the others share from season 2, that the reason why they love him, why he is who he is, and why he matters. But one of them is his love for art drawing, and he drew a rainbow spaceship. We've got the massive amount of Rainbow Bright. Derek's shirt is not rainbow. It is just primary colors. And a lot of in the mattress in the hallway of the Wheeler's house upstairs has rainbow print on it. Like, there's rainbows everywhere. Holly has tulip wallpaper that is primary colors, so it has that rainbow impression like Derek's shirt does. And then in Derek's home, his curtains have that same print or a very similar print. Now, in the 70s, color theory started to make its way into child psychology and how different colors influence different moods. Red is an energetic color. Um, Pink is, again from the other video, supposed to be a calming color. Blue is a calming color. Green is the most calming. But primary colors like blue, red, yellow, green were used in the classroom. It was used in children's clothing. It was used in kids' books. It still is to this day, right? So when you were an infant, black and white toys are a better choice because the ability to see color really hasn't fully generated yet. It's your eyes are working up to it, much like Max's eyes when she first wakes up. Everything is bright and blurry, not because she's permanently blinded, but because she hasn't been using those eye muscles. And it is the same with an infant. So as they age, they start to distinguish colors more. And in the 70s, it was really confirmed. There is a psychologist who did this work specifically that different colors affect different kids' moods. And it it all comes to how it was used in the classroom and how it's used to gain children's attention. So, seeing all of these primary colors, seeing all of these rainbows everywhere, it's not news or really that exciting unless you pair it with the rainbow bright theory. Especially, I think, in regards to Derek when he becomes Derek the Delightful, he's in that primary color shirt, and when he's first picking on Holly and her friend, he is in a different shirt that has rainbows on it. Well, again, it has primary colors that give the impression of a rainbow without actually being a rainbow. um I think that when you follow the rainbow bright theory, this was the indicator that Derek was going to be on Holly's side. Yes, he was in the trailer. Yes, we saw Mike protecting him. I actually talked about it in one of my episodes, about how Mike's standing in front of these kids, and it looks like that's the Mike from first season, the Mike that we loved then, not who he became over the years, and that we are in a position where Mike is reverting back to that. That's all true. But my point, because there's so much with Stranger Things right now, guys. I am just losing my thought process left and right. So, yes, I think Derek's rainbow esque shirt from when he's first picking on Holly and that other bitch, because screw her, was the indicator that he was going to be a team member. He was going to be on her side. Now, I'm going to skip a little bit ahead and let's focus on Derek for a second. Dipshit Derek, delightful Derek. Fuck all of you guys who turned against this kid. What the hell? Okay? Derek, right? Okay. Henry talks about how kids are easier to manipulate. He's choosing these kids who are weaker. No, he's choosing kids that are feeling ignored, left out, forgotten for multiple reasons. Holly, ignored. Just basically ignored for 4 seasons. She's just a spare kid. And now their house, the Wheeler house, is full of, let's count it out. Jonathan, Joyce, Mike, Will, Ted, Karen, Nancy, Holly. That's 7 people in that goddamn house. Of course, Holly is feeling left out and forgotten. Um, it makes sense. It's not that Holly is weak, it's that even in a house full of people, she feels alone. Then they show Derek's house, right? We see Derek the dipshit. We see how he's a jerk. Then we meet his Republican ass family. Tina sucks. His mom and dad clearly suck. His dad, might be a little bit better than Ted. It's hard to tell in one scene, really. Um, but you get this idea. He's got all of these toys. Clearly, his family has money, even during a semi apocalypse, but no one's talking to him. He doesn't seem to have any actual friends at school. There's nothing supportive in his home life that suggests his family cares about him. So that makes him an easier target for Vecna slash Henry slash one slash Mr. What's It. Let's use all the names. Derek did his part. He was drugged, kidnapped, saw the monsters, joined the team immediately, agreed to go into a military base camp where a bunch of kids are being held against their will, rather they know it or not. They didn't choose to be there. That is against their will. They were forced there. He creates his own little mini cult. Mr. Whatsit had already set it up, so it was easy for Derek to roll in there and be like, hey, by the way, this is the new plan. This is what we're gonna do. We gotta sneak out of here. We're in too much danger from the monsters here. He got them all on his side. They still get taken. That's not on Derek. Derek meets up with Holly and Max, lets them know what's going on. Hey, I am on your side. This guy's full of shit. Clearly, you know it. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna get out of here? They send him back in, and he does it, no questions asked. He just learned that he could be delightful Derek. He got this new sense of purpose from Joyce. And they send him back in to be dipshit Derek, where a sociopath attacks him and threatens him with images of his dead parents and sister missing their eyeballs. He's 10 years old. You're grown ass adults watching a TV show, and you can't have any empathy for a 10-year-old child, a fictional character who was just psychologically tortured with images of his dead family? So yeah, he switched sides, but he didn't really switch sides. You can see when Holly gets recaptured and she reaches out to him, that whole scene, he's terrified because he already used that cult effect that Henry started with the children to his benefit to get them to listen to him in the military base camp. He said, hey, I know you guys are under this guy's control because I was under this guy's control, so I'm going to use that. He watches them as Henry is explaining to the other kids how Holly's been brainwashed, how Max is really a monster, how everything is evil, blah, blah, blah. And he watches them flip on a dime. Henry has a cult of children willing to do anything. And they're chanting about bringing Holly back into the light. That was scary as shit. If you were scared as an adult of that, imagine being Derek. Then Holly wakes up. He knows that she got out, but still got caught and dragged back. So she made it out, but was recaptured. And now all of the kids that you saw doing a scary chant are here trying to convince her that she's crazy. You've already felt this tension. Holly busts out that stereo the Wheeler way and beats the crap. It was one hit on two different kids, but she did it. She saw the writing on the wall and she tried to get out. That entire scene is terrifying. Her best friend grabs her necklace and is legitimately choking Holly. These kids threw her. She tripped down the stairs and then she was kicked and beaten. Like, that was bad. That was a Lord of the Flies terrifying. And you guys are against Derek for being scared of that? How about you praise this young actor for how damn good a job he did? Because bravo, Derek. I did not look up that actor's name before I started this, but job well done, kid. You're doing amazing. And my eyes look freaky. Okay, so yes, screw you guys for ditching on Derek like that. Try a little loyalty, huh? Huh? You gonna be mad at him? You gonna be mad at a fictional child? No. Get it together. Okay, now, Holly. Holly is stealing this season. She's stealing the show and she's doing an amazing job. Up to this point, it's like Ted. You didn't need Holly. She was there, but she didn't really contribute anything except for, as I had mentioned, she sees the Demogorgon, she sees different things. But she's too little. She's not involved in any of this. And of course her big brother's not going to be like, hey, guess what's happening? Like, no, he's keeping her out of it. Now we open this season with Holly, who has seen multiple things throughout the years around town. She was sitting at a table, at the breakfast table with Max, sharing crayons as Max was coloring what the upside down, what the Creel house looked like. And Nancy and Dustin are the ones, it's Nancy, I believe, who puts the picture together and realizes, oh, this is the Creel house. Holly was right there. They took her light bright to communicate with the upside down, to communicate with the others. Holly saw this. She's been adjacent to everything, but without any actual facts. So, yeah, when her big brother comfortingly tells her, no, there are no monsters, then I think it makes sense for her to believe him. Um, the part that I questioned, but now talking this part out, where, yeah, of course, Holly's going to believe her big brother because she doesn't want there to be monsters. Like, and he was never the one, he was never around when any of these incidences occurred. So it could fully be in Holly's mind that she's like, hey, his friends are saying this. They could be full of shit. I'm trusting my big brother. Um, but the part that I had questions about, right, is he had this Holly the Heroic figure for D&D. And he said, I was going to wait a few years before giving this to you. I believe this was about the right age for Erica, or maybe it was a couple of years later for Erica, when they gave her the D&D stuff, or a year or so later. I really don't know how time works in Hawkins. Is it 3 years later? But Max has been in a coma for almost 2 years. I don't know. None of it makes sense. But we don't question things, we just trust them sometimes, and that's one of it. When somebody says this is how long the time's been, I just go, yeah, sure. Whatever makes the story flow, my man. Okay, yeah, so he says, I was gonna give you a few more years before giving you Holly the Heroic. He had that painted and ready to go. Does that mean he was already using Holly the Heroic in D&D games? Did he do that because he was going to let her in on everything that goes on in Hawkins, about everything in the Upside Down? Was it, I was too young, I want you to know the truth, but hey, we're gonna wait a couple of years till hopefully it's done and over? Like, why did he have Holly the Heroic? I like either answer. I'd like it more if he was actually like, oh yeah, I was gonna introduce you to D&D, I wanted you to come play with us, we've got a game going on with Erica. Like, yeah, they're fighting to save the world, but that doesn't mean they can't have downtime for D&D, guys. Kind of the whole part of the show. So there Holly is. She's been on the outside. She's been adjacent to these things. Mike has given her Holly the heroic. She's now interacting with Henry, with Mr. Whatsit. Um, what I want to talk about is that clothing, because a part of the Rainbow Bright theory is that Holly is dressed very similarly to Rainbow Bright. Okay? It's Rainbow Bright-esque. Now, when she gets into the Upside Down and Henry leaves her, the first thing she does, it makes sense. I don't know why people think this makes no sense. It makes perfect sense. Again, she's in this giant, beautiful mansion. She's been living in a house for almost 2 years with 7 people, and now she gets a hot minute alone? Of course she's going to dance and have fun, and she's going through the clothes, and like she changes her outfit. Now she is in this blue dress, and immediately people went, "Oh, Oklahoma. She's wearing a dress that looks like it belongs in Oklahoma." True, it does look like it belongs in Oklahoma, but then part 2 dropped and we saw the Alice in Wonderland poster. Perfection, right? She is dressed like Alice. She's exploring this world inside of somebody else's mind. This all makes sense. She follows the map, which somebody said um, in their breakdown that Henry is the White Rabbit, but I think it's a little bit more Max is the White Rabbit. She leaves the map for Holly, and Holly follows her um, until she becomes in control, right? Max has been here alone for so long. She's lost hope. It makes sense for when Holly shows up with that Wheeler energy that Mike and Nancy show all of the time, that Holly or that Max is just going, "Fucking yeah, you're a Wheeler. You sound just like your brother. You are your brother. This all makes total sense. I have a headache. 2 years, no headache. Now I got a headache." So, yes, I like that. Also, this is circling back to Mike saying Holly the Heroic has Dimension Door. Who is the first thing, or what is the first thing Alice meets when she goes to Wonderland? A door. A talking doorknob, right? Then you have, of course, the very clear visual of the door that is going to her memories. And then you also have the idea, because the way Mike says it, I believe that his words were you can create a door to anywhere. He might say a portal to a different plane. I mean, it's not exactly how Dimension Door works, I feel, the way that he had said it, but it also makes sense that she dug her way out. She's in Dimension X, and she digs her way out because she remembers what Max had said about the Upside Down, and it's below, so she sees this whole, like, she digs, she keeps making door after door for herself to get out of this situation, and she's a badass every time she does. So I think that Holly has one more dimension door left in her. I don't think all her spell slots have been used, and I can't wait to see that. Now let's talk clothing. We've already touched on it with Holly's outfits, right? She has one Rainbow Bright inspired, one Alice in Wonderland inspired. The wardrobe department always kills it. They're always doing an amazing job, just constantly. The things that I have seen mentioned um, is the Robin is in an outfit inspired by Winona Ryder in real life in the 90s. Robin's got that badass t-shirt as well, but here are the big ones that I feel have been missed. I haven't seen them being talked about anywhere. Again, it would have more strength if there was more evidence of it, but like very specifically, Elle's outfit is inspired by Brand in The Goonies. Josh Brolin's character in The Goonies. She is wearing his whole workout outfit, except her shorts are blue and she has the red bandana where his is reversed. He has the red shorts and the blue bandana. I think that's how it is. And then she even has the sweatshirt. Nobody said a thing about it. She's literally dressed as Brand, and nobody said a word. Or if they have, it's the one thing that has not come across my feed, and I think that is just crazy. So then I kind of started to look at it. I'm like, well, is anybody else dressed Goonies-esque? It's like they're still trying to honor um Sean Astin, but they didn't want to do Sean Astin, so they did his brother instead. I couldn't really make it fit. I stretched it a little bit. Dustin's outfit, his entire attitude in this season is inspired by the loss of Eddie, obviously. Except that trench coat. That trench coat has nothing to do with Eddie, so I stretched it a little bit, and I'm like, if anybody is Data, Dustin's Data. So again, this is just my own little thing. I think that Dustin's outfit is very lightly inspired by Data. It's still very much honoring Eddie and his love for Eddie, but by keeping his baseball cap, by keeping a hat, even though it says nothing, and adding that trench coat, like the hat saying nothing is the indicator of Dustin has lost his way. There's usually something going on that. He's expressing himself the best way he knows how. But now it is just a plain, there is nothing on that because Dustin is grieving and he's scared and he's lost. But that trench coat, it's a little bit that too. It's easy to hide in a trench coat. But I think that I'd like to think just personally that that trench coat is Data inspired. So those are the big ones. The ones specifically for me that relate back to Pinkalicious, Erica and Nancy pulling it out with the pink again. So let's start with Erica, right? Erica wears pink on occasion, but during the rewatch over this past month, when Erica's wearing pink, she's usually in a group. Her friends, people who she's putting on that performance for, right? Because when I talked in Pinkalicious, I was saying that sexism and capitalism were trying to use pink as a feminine color to keep women quiet and happy, right? I talked about in color theory how they use the color pink is supposed to be calming, but I stated that modern media has tried to regain pink as a color of strength. And Stranger Things specifically uses pink to hide the strongest female characters. And this is that example. We see when Lucas and Mike go to get Erica at school, and she's in Mr. Clark's class, her favorite class, she is wearing pink. She is in a group setting. She has to put on this idea of who Erica Sinclair is supposed to be. But when she goes to Tina's house and throughout the whole rest of the series, that pink is gone. She is in blue, she is in purple, she is being her true self. When she goes to get Mr. Clark, and then specifically when the entire group is together sitting on the couch and Erica calls Vecna a pussy, and Mr. Clark looks at her, he's like he doesn't know that Erica. He has no idea who that Erica is. She is not hiding behind what society says the color pink should be anymore. She is wearing her true colors, and you can't make them out here, but these are my, I also play a rogue who likes to poison people, so these are my poison dagger earrings from a gift from my friend Rachel. So yes, I am honoring Erica with my poison dagger earrings, because that girl gets it. Eat your damn pie. So anyways, Mr. Clark was taken by surprise. He didn't know this Erica existed. Nancy, however, has stopped using pink as her disguise, and now it's just her battle armor, right? We see her, she's running the radio station. God knows if those kids are getting paid for that, right? Like, how is anybody in Hawkins? Side part, I've got, those are my questions. That's what I really want to know. So she's running the radio station. Rockin' Robin is our DJ. Uh, Steve is actually assisting as the sound guy. I don't know what Jonathan does, but Nancy is the boss. She is in charge, and she is dressed in head to toe pink while she does it. When they go into the Upside Down, she's wearing a mauve colored jacket. She has a long sleeve pink turtleneck under it and an ombre pink and purple sweater vest on top of that. You can argue that ombre is pulling in a little bit more of that rainbow theme if you really want to. I just mentioned it, totally up to you what you do with that information. But Nancy is in pink. She has reclaimed that color, which she has worn consistently throughout the entire series. And she has finally found who she truly is, and she is really accepting that by that breakup with Jonathan. Because it was a breakup. I don't know. Okay. She was disguised for an incredibly long time. But now she is fully 100% Nancy and can go toe to toe with people like Dr. K. Her smile when Hopper told her good shooting, like, that's all she wanted to hear. How insane is that? Like, that's how happy she is. Jonathan in that breakup scene goes, you give me these articles to read and you just want to hear how good they are. And she's like, yeah, because they are good. She hears this from Hopper, something that she truly cares about. She has been their weapons person since the first season. Since Jonathan handed her that handgun, it's been part of her personality. And then when you see her take the weapon away from Steve, that means that entire wall of weaponry is for her and Hopper. I really thought about it. I've watched the first part 3 times now and part 2 twice now. That means in this almost 2 years between 4 and 5, nobody else has trained with the weapons. Maybe Murray? Definitely not Joyce. Like, that's crazy. They had an entire wall of guns, and only 2 people seem to be the ones allowed to use them. Batshit crazy. Also, tomorrow I'll be posting my final Stranger Things support party, and I think it just really adds to my claim of Steve being a cleric that he picked up a gun and they went, no, 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 have a pointy stick instead. Like, poor Steve. He tries so hard. He's gotten beaten up so many times. And they won't let him have a weapon. What happened to the bat? They should have brought back the bat. That should have been there. Now I'm sad. I wasn't even thinking about that. Now I'm sad about the bat. Oh, okay. So, pause to grab some water. Going through the notes, there was a mini theory. This might actually be my favorite more so than the Rainbow Bright one, and that was somebody stating they asked, I mean, it wasn't even a theory. I think I read it in the replies to something, and somebody went, "Wait, did the Duffers say it all along that friends don't lie?" Because everything is about them expressing their true feelings. How Mike is worried for Elle. How Elle is scared about what she might have to do. Lucas and Max just fully being Lucas and Max. But Dustin and Steve's relationship, they worked out their issues. What Steve said about Eddie was rough. Like, that was, but I think they did a good job with his apology and Dustin being able to really express his fear and worry. That all came out very well, I believe. Um, Jonathan and Nancy, their breakup, letting out everything that they feel, that was, I think it was all beautifully done. Will and Joyce working through their issues, Will coming out to everybody. The only person who has not let out their true emotions and feelings is Hopper. He is the only person who has held back. And the question now is, will it mean anything? Like, will he be able to fully express himself, his worry for Elle, his love for her, his fear of losing another child? Like, until he really lets out all of his feelings, I don't think that this battle will be able to be won. He has to express himself. Now, the person falling that we see in the trailer, it got leaked that that wasn't what we saw, that it wasn't Holly's fall. That's what I originally thought. Like, when we saw Holly falling, I was watching with a friend. I was like, oh my god, it was Holly! It was Holly all along. I can't believe. Then they leak it. It wasn't Holly. It is most likely Elle. My money has been on either Elle or Will, leaning more towards Will not making it, but now I'm leaning more towards Elle. But I think there might be a chance that the person falling is Hopper or Collie. Those are my theories. But yeah, I do truly believe that what that person said in their comment about how the Duffers put it in there from the beginning, because the part that caught me upon the during the original watch too, but definitely in the rewatch, is that Mike says friends don't lie. And I was expecting Elle to respond with, but girlfriends can, the way that Max told Elle boyfriends lie back in season 3. So I thought that we were going to get some part of that, but she never said that. So either their relationship isn't as strong as we all think, or it is very specifically worded. Or another fun one that I actually really like is that they finally reached a place where their friendship means more than their relationship does. Because I know we were all very uncomfortable with the amount of making out they were doing. It was weird. Hopper was correct in how weird that was. Like, that was excessive. So like, did they reach that balance where their friendship and relationship have a good, healthy balance that Jonathan and Nancy's didn't? Why don't they say, why was it just friends don't lie? And then when you think about Hopper and Jane in the Upside Down again, he was lying to her constantly. The whole time. He is still lying to her. He's told Joyce the truth. Joyce knows his real feelings. Sort of. I don't think, was there an indicator? Did I miss it? I don't think she knows about his plan to blow up the Upside Down. Now I'm laughing. Okay, because Mike is building a bomb. Mike and Robin are literally building a bomb and arguing what record to set it to. And Hopper has everything already attached to his chest. So, in the who's going to die category, maybe my new scale is Elle, Hopper, Will, Collie. I mean, she'll probably die, but it's not going to be that emotional for us. Yeah. All right. Okay, so now for the random thoughts and the things in the fandom that are making me really emotional, mainly angry on the emotions, very angry. First, let's start off with I'm a huge shipper. I have been shipping since I was a baby. When Lou chose the kid over Jimmy, it was bullshit. Jimmy and Lou, superior ship. Tommy and Kimberly, superior ship. I have been shipping forever. I ship everyone all the time. I love love. But if you cannot separate your ship from a TV show, of course you're gonna be upset. Of course you're gonna be mad, right? You're not writing the show. The writers aren't writing it for you. I'm a goddamn Blark shipper. Even though they're together in real life, it's still BS they weren't together in the show. But that's not. Oh my god, I almost went off on a totally different, the 100 tangent. It doesn't matter that I wanted Blark together. It doesn't matter that you want Will and Mike together. It doesn't. You're not writing the show. The show's not being written for you specifically. Something is not bad because you didn't get your way. I love shipping. I love theories. I have a ton of theories. I have post-its and I am the walking meme of the red string theory. I've put it all together. But when I put it together wrong, that doesn't mean I stop loving whatever the show was, whatever the movie was, whatever the book was. I can be disappointed. Absolutely. Those feelings are justified. Be disappointed. You're allowed. But don't ruin other people's experiences because you didn't get your way. So, this is a gripe for the actual internet. I was alive back in the day when there was no internet, when we didn't connect the way that we do now, where people weren't constantly sharing their feelings and opinions. You had it to yourself, and maybe your friends liked the show that you liked too, and you could talk about it, and that was great. Or it'd be a water cooler conversation. That's what they were called, right? We got one episode of something a week, and then you went to work or school and you had that water cooler conversation and you shared your theories. And if you were wrong, you were wrong. Now, though, as you're watching a show, you're typing out your theory, not really paying attention because you're on your phone, and then you're mad because they're explaining the show step by step. Why are they spending so much time explaining what happened? They're doing that because you guys didn't realize that Jonathan and Nancy broke up. The words unproposal meant nothing. The fact that he legitimately threw the ring away didn't click. Somehow that translated into, oh, they're engaged now. No, they aren't. You weren't paying attention. You're upset because your ship didn't work out. Byler didn't work. Nancy and Jonathan didn't work. So suddenly you don't like it. Suddenly it's bad. Now, you can absolutely have gripes about the writing or plot holes. Fine, do that. That is okay. Share your feelings, express them. But nowhere in the show did they ever set up Mike having feelings for Will. It did not happen. Even when he gets excited about Will's sorcerer powers, he's excited about the powers. His friend can do something really fucking cool and just killed 3 Demogorgons in one go. It was badass. That's not an indicator of him being in love with Will. That is a viewer putting their feelings into a show. And then if you turn around and you say it's stupid because it didn't go the way you wanted, that's on you. That is not the Duffer Brothers. That is not the actors. That is you. Again, ship whoever the fuck you want. Do it. I am happy. I am right there with you. I love to ship. I personally don't see by like the Will Mike thing. I never once saw it. Um, but if you did, you did. That's fucking great. Do not be mad at everybody else. The show's not garbage because it didn't work out. The show is not garbage because Nancy and Jonathan broke up. My personal feeling, the second they broke up, I started liking Jonathan again. The whole point of that conversation, what we watched throughout season 4, was they had become toxic for each other. Okay? It started out with clearly they have an attraction. It wasn't the top of Nancy's mind, but everything they went through, he was the first person who handed her a gun. Damn straight she's going to be attracted to that. We know how much Nancy Wheeler loves her weapons. They went through the trauma. They lost Barb. Steve was supporting. Actually, this was kind of his first indicator of how he doesn't know how to deal with grief, which is something that I respect, right? I have lost many a person, but I have a hard time. I am a be there person. I don't have the right words for comfort as much as I want to comfort people. I will sit here and listen to you because I know the second I try to say something, I'm going to fuck it up or it's going to come out wrong person. So I get Steve's perspective a lot there. Jonathan hopped on that bus with Nancy, not because of Barb, but because of Will, and everything that his family went through. So that was a trauma bond. Murray says it. Murray recognizes it. Murray likes chaos. So the fact that he is encouraging this relationship and the idea of getting engaged, full indicators that it is a bad idea. Right? Murray can have great plans and intelligence and insight into different things. They've gone with Murray's plan once, twice. No, once. Just getting to, like, he gives them information. He helped Joyce figure out that doll. He got her to Russia. But other than that, Murray's plans are not the plans that they go with. Okay? Okay, now to piss off more people. I loved Will's coming out scene. Fine, if you think it had holes, if you don't think everybody should be there, they needed to. They explained it. It's because of his fear. He is scared of being rejected. This is the 1980s. This is 1986. Okay? 2025 and 1986 in regards to being queer are two completely different time periods, which is insane because now in 2025 we're circling back to how shit was in 1986, how things were in 1996. Just because you didn't have a hard time coming out does not mean everybody did, right? Me as an individual, I had the The very common, I mean, not very common, but not uncommon being bisexual of having to be told. Because, like I said in 911, Buck nailed it. Wait, doesn't everybody check out the asses of the person of their same sex? No, not everybody does. Sometimes we have to have it explained to us, okay? You know, when I think about every time I was like, oh, I have a girl crush. No, I actually just have a crush on a girl. On a girl and a guy. The leads of this one movie. I have a crush on both of them. They're both hot. I'm into it. Like, it was easy for me because I was in my 30s when I fully understood, and I'm still learning who I am. It's not all figured out. We don't all have it handed to us and explained. Almost nobody does. And especially to understand who you are truly as a child, even rarer. So to be a child, because that's what they are 16 years old in this show, I think. That's still a child. He has to come out to everyone who is there, and they're in that room because they're there and they're going into battle against each other. And if he doesn't express and stand up for his against his fear now, then he's not going to. And Vecna can exploit that. Again, this circles back to everybody has expressed the things that they are worried about. They've expressed why a relationship does or doesn't work. They've expressed what they're scared of. If they don't do this, if part 2 wasn't so much talking, Vecna will automatically win because he would have weak points to exploit. He could get into any of their minds and exploit their fears, which I think is what's going to happen with Hopper. He'll probably get into Hopper's mind and exploit his fears. So, yes, if you thought that scene was too long, or maybe you didn't like the exact writing, fine. But Will is making this list of all these things that he has in common with his best friends, all the things they love and share and enjoy together, to remind them so that they have that to hold on to when he states out loud that one thing they don't have in common. If you said, why is this show such woke bullshit? You're a homophobe. The end. Rainbows have been involved since day one, goddammit. Since the very first season, they have talked about Will's sexuality. And if you have been taken by surprise because a grown adult man, his own goddamn father, was judging him for what his sexuality could possibly be, and now you're shocked, it's because you are homophobic or because you are media illiterate. Probably both. The end. That's it. That's it in regards to that. Alrighty, guys. So now there is time for some of my random thoughts. Town's blocked off. Half the stores are closed. Are they running on a barter system? How is Hawkins managing? Right? Are the teachers being paid? Why would they teach unless they truly loved it, which is a huge thing for the Duffer Brothers, casting their own drama teacher and the respect that they put on Mr. Clark and his respect for the kids. So, like, I mean, what is the money system? How are things being done here? I need to know. Next, Jonathan calling Steve chauvinistic is such a fucking terrible insult and an indicator that these two zero time together. You would think that if they're both working in the radio station, there would be more, they'd have more to talk about, right? The only thing these two have ever had is Nancy and the kids. They've never had a friendship. You can save the world with somebody that you're not friends with. That's totally fine. But it's showing that Jonathan cares so little about anything outside of his relationship with Nancy at this point that the chauvinistic insult, which flies back in season one, is so stupid now. It doesn't hit, it makes no sense. And you're saying that he's chauvinistic because he wants to bring Nancy flowers? Because he's worried about the Wheelers? I mean, he is very clearly more worried about Nancy in that situation. Um, but again, to me, it's another indicator of Steve being a cleric. Like, he wants to give comfort. I don't think, I'm completely on Steve's side. Nothing in this season has been about him trying to get back with Nancy. Not a goddamn thing. A couple of things in season 4, but not a crazy amount. This has not been Steve constantly trying to get with Nancy. No, Steve cares about what happens to the town. He cares specifically about what happens with Dustin, but with these other kids too. That was established in season 3 with him constantly letting them into the movie theater, even though Dustin's nowhere near. Like, he's not anywhere around town. He cares about these kids. He cares about this problem. In my opinion, Jonathan has only cared about Will, his mom, and Nancy. Everything else is in regards to them. He starts to care about Elle as his little sister when they're in Lenora. Like, so he starts to care there. It's little bits. This is, I think, a disservice from the writing team. So again, this is my point of view. This has not ruined an entire show for me. I'm saying I don't think the writers treated Jonathan's character properly, with the exception of trying to make this specific point. He loves his brother regardless. He knows that Will is gay. He made it very clear in season 4 that he knew Will was gay. He makes it very clear. He's the first person to hop up and hug his little brother. Charlie Heaton, like, his acting when he gets these emotional scenes, fantastic. Fantastic. But the way the writers wrote Jonathan, he literally interacts with nobody else. Almost never. Just nobody else. It's just, again, my feelings, my thoughts. I think they did him dirty, especially when you have someone who is actually a really good actor, the way Charlie Heaton is. Okay, shout out Karen Wheeler. Fucking amazing. If Karen and Mr. Clark had been brought in the way that Mike wanted to back in season 1, Mike constantly in season 1 was, hey, let's tell my mom. We should tell my mom. We should tell my mom. The show would have been over. 3 episodes done. They'd had that shit handled. We would not have gotten here if Joyce had opened up to Karen a little bit, if the kids had opened up at any time. Boom, that shit over. Her going after the Demigorgon, I mean, one of the best lines in the entire show now is Karen with her wine. Perfect. That's how I'm winning every game of Clue now. I don't care. When I get too frustrated because I haven't figured it out, it was Karen with the wine in the kitchen. Try me. No, it wasn't Karen with the wine in the kitchen. Then it was Karen with the oxygen tank in the laundry room. She took those bitches down. And yes, of course, I saw the Jurassic Park scene. anybody who saw Jurassic Park in theaters recognized the raptors. It was right. They even used the mirror. It was great. I loved it. Is it referencing a 90s movie? Sure. Does it matter? No, because it was great. And because Karen's a badass. She woke up. Her mommy senses were tingling, and she heard Lucas and Max, and in this 2 years she's at least met Robin, um, if not listened to her on the radio. But she heard those are her extra children. They are in her house all of the time. She knows her kids go to visit Max in the hospital. She woke up and she saved the fucking day. Go Karen Wheeler. Well done. Bravo. Amazing. Now for the Robin. I love Robin. She has become easily my favorite character. Uh, her coming in clutch with Will, sharing her experiences, sharing the Tammy story, giving him that bravery and that love and comfort where maybe they aren't the closest. They haven't spent a lot of time together, but she this is something she understands that literally nobody else can, and it was just perfection, beautifully done. As for the theory that Robin is a spy for Vecna, it happened in one quick scene. I understand how people can miss it. But at the very beginning of the first episode, Holly says to Mike and Will, "Hurry up, we're gonna miss Rock and Robin." That means Holly listens to Robin. That means Holly called in requests, because this is 1986, not 2025, even in the 90s, and even on road trip radio on XM or whatever that we listen to at my work, people still call in their requests to radio stations. That is why Robin knows Tiffany is who Holly listens to. Now, it could be specific that Holly has requested Tiffany, or it could be the fact that Robin is a DJ and understands different age groups and the things that they're interested in and what they would listen to. So, based on Holly's age and what she knows about Holly, Tiffany is a logical deduction. So, she either knows from fact because Holly called in and has requested Tiffany before, or something of a similar genre, or it is a logical deduction. It's not the end of the world. It's not a clue that Robin is a spy. And if anyone is right and Robin is a spy, how dare you? I don't think so whatsoever, but how dare you anyway? All right. Again, guess what? These are all just your opinions, my opinions, and it's okay that they are different. Okay, more Robin things. Robin and Vicky. It's easily missed again in that first episode when Robin tells Vicky, "Hey, I can't I've got bad news, bad news first. I can't make it tonight, but we're going to go to Enzo's." Vicky reacts with of course, like she rolls her eyes and she turns away, and it can very easily, and I think what most of us did was write that off as, oh, this isn't the first time they talk about these crawls. This is something that's happened before. Of course, it would be annoying if your partner is canceling last minute again. But then later on, when Robin tells Vicky everything that's been going on, and Vicky automatically goes, "You're a druggie. Of course you're a druggie. You are in withdrawals." Like, that's, watch it again. Like I did, go back, watch it again after that reveal that those are Vicky's feelings. And she is expressing it very well in that first episode. It is a logical thing for us to assume, hey, this has happened before, But no, it makes sense why she's reacting the way that she is reacting. Then you follow that up with how many druggies are in Hawkins. What the hell? Like, damn. Because first episode, when we're getting Elle's introduction, she's running through the woods. The MPs are after her, but they catch someone else, and they're like, "Oh, it's just another druggie." They go to get Robin, and Vicky's saying she's in withdrawal. She needs to be in hospital, and they're like, "Ooh, a druggie in Hawkins. We're so surprised." What the fuck? Is Murray bringing in a shit ton of drugs? Is that how they're funding everything? Is he selling drugs to buy grenades? Why are there so many druggies in Hawkins? Besides, the apocalypse. That makes sense, but how are they getting that many drugs? Where is it all coming from? That the MPs are like, oh, this is something we deal with all the time. Nobody cares. Damn. You guys were upset. We had the whole satanic panic in season 4. Very well done and represented. But nobody's freaking out about the drug use, apparently. That's fine. Those are my holes, guys. These are the problems. I don't understand. Somebody explain them to me, because I am not getting it, apparently. I think that's all of my big stuff. I am very excited for the finale. I cannot wait to watch. Oh, wait, no, I do have one more. So, my friend was the first one who pointed. I wasn't really bothered with the amount of plans. But my friend, he goes, yeah, they're making a plan, and then someone shuts the plan down, and to him, it was getting repetitive. He's a D&D player as well. He should know this. But it was on, again, the rewatch, where it actually makes the most sense that they spend so much time planning. I personally hate how long it takes in TV shows specifically for groups to come together and start talking about what's going on. We are used to seeing this season after season. This group's going after this mystery, right? So Mike becomes obsessed with Will and wants to or obsessed with Elle and wants to figure out what's going on with Elle, but Lucas wants to focus on what's going on with Will. Nancy is focused on Barb. Joyce is focused on Will. Jonathan is split focus because whatever happened to Barb also happened to Will. Then you get to season 2, like, it's all broken down. You have one group going after Russians here, one group going here. I hate it. And then even when you get to the final episode, all right, let's say in season 2, everybody comes together. And then they say, okay, Steve, stay with the kids because Hopper and Ella are going to go to Hawkins' lab, and Joyce, Jonathan, Nancy, Will are going to go take care of Will. You take care. I hate it. Stop breaking up. You just got together. You worked it all out. Look how well you guys did as a team. So this final season, when you open with them working as a team, fucking great. And do you know what happens in Dungeons and Dragons over and over and over again? You go to make a plan, and then somebody doesn't like part of the plan, so then you make another plan, and then the plan fails, and you make another plan, and then you roll a nat 1 on the crazy plan, or on the, like, logical plan, and then you make a crazy out of your ass plan that you crit on, and now everything's succeeding, and the DM is crying because it doesn't make sense. Everybody has worked together, and they stay in contact, or attempted to stay in contact, every time they break apart. I love it. They are going as a group into the Upside Down together to get to Dimension X together. It's fucking great. It's filling me personally with joy. I love it. I am so excited for this. I cannot believe, like, my dream is coming true. The team is working as a unit, and it's going great. They even called in reinforcements with Mr. Clark. I am thrilled. Go ahead, hate it, dislike it, No, my friend, he, like, the first part, plan gets shot down. Second part, he still didn't like all the planning, but at least the plans weren't constantly shot down over and over again. That was an improvement for him. I think I'll have to double check. Don't want to put words into his mouth. But yeah, I'm stoked. I could not be happier for that. Okay, now there are a few finals. Mr. Clark, getting it again. Love it. Keep getting it, Mr. Clark. Good for you. I feel like there was one more. Oh, I was going to bitch about the importance of the play, which I did do a little bit earlier, but nowhere near enough. How fucking dare you make a play that is so important to the final season, but give the majority of people no way to watch it, to learn any of this? Like, the books are out there, there's a comic out there, that's great, that's fine. But the play of actual importance that explains to us. I had to watch other videos to learn any of this, but those caves are in Nevada. Henry Creel's family came from Nevada. That's a Russian spy who stole from Dr. Brenner. What was in the case is what teleports him to teleports Creel to Dimension X. Dimension X is what it's called. That's what this other planet, this other space is. He comes back. That's why his blood has changed. That's why his parents moved to Hawkins. Our animals start getting killed. Like, all this shit happens that the average viewer knows nothing about, and it's actually important. So yeah, you gave us some clues. One of those clues being when Holly is changing clothes, she sees the picture of Henry in the Boy Scout uniform, goes and finds his stuff, his scout stuff, puts on, oh, this was, haha, circling back. She puts on his bandana or scarf from the Boy Scouts, right? That might be another indicator of her trying to reach out to Henry, or why she was more susceptible to him because of that loneliness. Like, yes, it's very clearly, oh, by the way, he was in the Boy Scouts. Oh, look, you found this telescope and everything. But I think that there is a slight chance it could be about her connection to Henry as well. Okay, now I think I'm done. Yeah. Agree, disagree, tell me I suck. Whatever your feelings are, they are valid to a point. They are valid until you're tearing down an entire thing just because you don't agree with it. Not because it's actually bad or it's actually wrong, but because you as an individual aren't happy. I'm not the center of the universe, and if I'm not the center of the universe, you sure as hell aren't the center of the universe either. Imagine if there was, I don't know, a parallel universe or dimension and other things were happening there, like a whole ecosystem, monsters, psychic powers, and a whole world outside of your one space. That'd be crazy as hell. Anyways, thank you for visiting my geekdom, my space. I always appreciate anybody who spends time with me. Let me know what you think, and Happy New Year! Enjoy the finale!